Okay, this is my presentation on helmets and motorcycle safety. So, the Federal Highway Administration in 2023 reported that more than 9.89 million motorcycles are registered in the United States and the District of Columbia. They make up a large portion of not only the United States, but also the rest of the world's modes of transportation. They can be convenient and their aesthetics play a role in many people's decisions to own one. Some people take it a step farther with the aesthetic and ride with no helmet due to not believing in them. Yet evidence shows the importance of wearing a helmet to reduce injury or fatality. So how does wearing a helmet help prevent injury, and what are those injuries? So first off, how does a helmet work to prevent injury? So here's a diagram on how helmets protect the brain. And so the Queensland Brain Institute states that helmets are designed mainly to dissipate force. The hard shell on helmets spread the impact of the force over a larger area, so the overall impact is less on a singular spot of the skull, reducing damage to the brain. The main goal of a helmet is to prevent head injuries, but they can also protect the user's face from road rash and preventing direct contact with the concrete. So this is shown in this picture, well, these multiple pictures, how much they can protect your head. So what injuries can occur while on a motorcycle? Singleton states that there are a multitude of injuries that can occur while in a motorcycle accident, including but not limited to broken bones, concussions, road rash, amputation, burns, internal bleeding, traumatic brain injuries, and eye injuries. Yet helmet's main purpose is to protect the head and brain. Chance of injuries could directly decrease with the use of a helmet. Some common examples of head-related injuries are traumatic brain injuries, skull fractures, and intracranial hemorrhages. And here's how they look on an X-ray or a CT scan or an MRI. And all these can be fatal and lead to disability as severe enough, as stated by Hussein. A study done by Singleton in 2016 shows that motorcycle helmets were associated with a 69% reduction in skull fracture, 71% reduction in cerebral contusion, and a 53% reduction in intracranial hemorrhages compared to without. So with these statistics, wearing a helmet can drastically reduce the chance of injury. So yeah, many people believe that helmets are not necessary on a motorcycle. And then one may say that motorcycle riders only account for 14% of all traffic facilities. Although a study done by the National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration states that motorcycles only account for 3% of registered vehicles. And just to put it in perspective, here's a little chart showing how little that actually is. But Beaver states that motorcycles account for 14% of crashes, with being only 3% of the driving population. So with that information, it shows motorcyclists are at a higher risk of being in a crash. With this study done in 2014, the U.S. motorcycle crash rate is 68% higher than those of other vehicles, and their fatal crash rate is more than 28 times higher. So with the crashes being at a higher rate, it is important to wear a helmet to prevent injuries to lessen your chance of fatality and a potential crash. Someone else could also say that helmets cost too much money. Although helmets can cost a pretty penny and be as much as in the thousands, J.D. Power states that on average they cost about $100 to $200. Economically, it is still a smarter decision to buy a helmet compared to the medical bills, assistive devices, and rehabilitation therapies you would have to pay for with most injuries. Where just the hospital bill for someone admitted to the ICU with an intracranial hemorrhage was on average $1,800, taken from 2 studies done in different hospitals in the US in 2018. So economically, it is much more affordable to buy even the most expensive helmet and wear it than risk having to pay an exponential amount in hospital bills alone. Although some believe that you do not have to wear a helmet on a motorcycle, evidence shows that it can greatly reduce your chance of injury and fatality as well as cost. Altogether, helmets are an important part of safety when riding a motorcycle. Helmets work by spreading out the blow of the impact, consequently decreasing the blunt impact on someone's skull. They protect the head from serious injuries such as traumatic brain injuries, skull fractures, and intracranial hemorrhages. Not only is it statistically smarter for injury and fatality prevention, it is also smarter economically as well. Overall, it's better to be safe than sorry, so wear a helmet and prevent something you can never change. Thank you for listening. And here's my citations.
Yay! Only 2 times.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.